Hello, and welcome back to the We Don't Want a Podcast. This is the show where two certified dipshits make uncertified takes about your favorite series. We are your hosts. I am Zach, and joining me as always, here he is with two good hands. It is Scotty Westside.
Why did you have to use a fucking Euron line, dude? I hate you.
I knew you would love it,
Yeah.
so that's exactly why.
Yeah. I do have two good hands, unlike our boy Jamie.
Your hands are not as good as you think.
No, well, listen, that really hurts my feelings because I already think that kind of shit. I don't think that I do. I have like sausage fingers.
You do. All your limbs are sausage-like.
Really?
Like, your limbs remind me of...
You're really hurting my feelings tonight.
Hold on, listen.
Hold
this
on,
is
listen,
great.
I'm gonna burn
Hold on,
you
listen,
so
I'm not done. Your limbs remind me of Dragon Ball Goku, not grown-up Goku.
God.
Just straight tubes, dude.
Fuck you. That is okay. My arms all accept that, but I got shredded as hell legs, bro.
You got some nice calves.
My calves are sexy as hell. I take great pride in my jumping ability for being a white boy that I am.
You gotta love a guy who takes good pride in his jumping ability.
I thought you were gonna.
There's
say
a movie
calves.
about that.
There is. Anyway, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
talking
guys,
about calves.
We're back talking about season 7. We're excited. Can you tell? I'm cracking open a little cold one over here off to the side.
I'm so
Scotty,
excited.
you look like you're having a great time, bud.
Yeah, I'm having a great time as usual. Anyway, Zachy boy, I do.
Scotty, you're looking real sausage-like.
Fuck you. I have something I wanted to talk to you about. Slightly continuing a conversation. You know what? Go ahead and ask me how I did this week or what I did.
I don't care.
Do your thing. No, you have to do the thing though.
Oh, okay. Is this a bit?
No. Well, yes, but no.
Okay. How are you doing this week?
You know what? I had a great week, Zach. I went on a little bit of a Studio Ghibli kick. A Studio Ghibli bender, if you will. Yes.
Okay. All right.
So you and I talked about this a little bit already. I believe I've mentioned on one of our pods before that one of my great shames is that I've only ever seen one Studio Ghibli movie, which was Princess Mononoke. Which is phenomenal.
Which is a great movie.
It's a great movie.
Sure.
And for whatever reason, I just got, a wild hair at my ass to start watching a bunch of them. And I have watched...
It's not the only thing. You got it there.
I knew I could slip that phrase.
Same here, bud.
True. I have watched 3 Studio Ghibli movies this week. I already discussed 2 of them with you. The first one was My Neighbor Totoro, which was very cute and sweet and wholesome and just fine. I have no complaints about it.
Sure.
It's not the most amazing movie in the world.
It's very near and dear to a lot of people's hearts, but I think it's just because it's visually iconic.
Sure.
Like, it's just like the characters are just like...
Also, they might have
you know?
seen it when they were children and have a soft spot
But like,
for
it's not a spectacular movie. I mean, it's
totally fine.
It's good,
There's
but
just
it's not
a lot of story there. But there's nothing wrong with it. It's very sweet and wholesome, like I said. Then I watched one that does have a whole lot of story and an amazing story at that. In Spirited Away.
Yes.
And as I explained to you the other night, that movie, that's just a fantastic movie, period.
Yes.
End of story.
Yes.
Phenomenal.
Yes.
Loved it to death. The animation is incredible. It might be one of my favorite, like, just animated things ever. Like, I truly, like, the animation in particular, like, it looked so
gorgeous.
Good. Yes.
Truly. And considering its age, too.
Yes. I think 2001. If what I recall recollect.
Sounds about right.
So I told you I had watched these 2, and you were like, okay, the next one you have to watch is Howl's Moving Castle. And I was like, okay, sure, done.
Yeah.
And so I went and watched Kiki's Delivery Service instead. I'm just kidding. I didn't.
Okay. Well, Kiki's Delivery Service is also great,
I'm
so
just kidding.
I wouldn't have been that mad.
I did watch Howl's Moving Castle.
Okay.
And I really liked it.
Hell yeah.
I do not think I loved it in the way I loved Spirited Away.
Sure.
I don't really have that much negative to say about it.
Yeah, sure.
It's
not as groundbreaking as Spirited Away.
Sure.
It's not as like monumental, and I can see that.
I will say, however, I think Calcifer is probably my new favorite character in anything.
Yes, dude. Cal is the best.
Calcifer fucking rules. He tries to be this like, oh, I'm this big scary fire demon, but he's actually like a total sweetheart and just like is so funny. Like
it's like the opposite of you.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe opposites attract, I guess. I don't know. I loved Calcifer. He was so funny. Like Truly. He's always showing great concern for Howl. And there was the really funny bit when Howl comes in and she's cooking on him. And Howl's like, you're usually not so accommodating, Calcifer. And he's just like, she bullied me. And it's just like, it's very funny. Love Calcifer.
Calcifer's the best.
Also a great movie. But yeah, definitely. I think Spirited Away might have passed Princess Mononoke. That's funny to say for me to say that my favorite Ghibli movie because it was the only one I had seen for the longest time.
Sure. But Mononoke is phenomenal movie.
Truly phenomenal. But yeah, there's your little Scott's Ghibli update.
Oh man, what a pleasant way to start this podcast.
See, aren't you glad I did that little bit for you?
I am actually very excited and happy and appreciative that you're watching some Ghibli.
Yeah.
Ghibli.
Expanding.
People say it two different ways.
True.
Doesn't matter.
Is it?
I don't fucking know.
Okay, fair enough. I
say
Ghibli.
both. Whatever comes out, just that's what it is. It's whatever you feel. You know, that's what cinema is.
Whatever comes out, that's what it is. I try to live by that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it a fart? Is it a shit? Whatever comes out, man. Just live and die by that shit.
So that was my week. How was your week, pal?
My week's been fine. It's been good. We had some family stay in town with us who are moving out here soon. So we were kind of driving them around over the weekend, looking at places for them to move into. It was a good time.
Good.
Had a photo shoot that was great.
Is it hot as balls down there like it is up here?
Yeah, man. I mean, I honestly, today was a super chill, relaxed day, so we didn't really go outside much other than to like take the dog out. But I just burped into the mic. You're welcome. But yesterday was tough. Like we were out and about driving around looking at places all day. Yeah. And like, yes, we're in an AC'd car, but
you get out
like in stop and go traffic and then like cruising through like neighborhoods. Like it doesn't like cool, like cold. And I kind of think I need like some Freon or something.
Sure.
So it was just like gross. Yeah. And then I had a photo shoot after that. So then I drove an hour south to go to the college to do a graduation shoot for a client, which was great. It was a great shoot, but it was fucking hot as dick outside.
Got up to like 97 here today.
Yeah. It was not enjoyable, but overall good weekend. Nothing to complain about other than the heat. Hell yeah, man. But I'm actually very excited, Scott.
Good.
Because I think this is the only. So I've only ever seen season 7. I'm pretty sure only the one time.
This will be my third time through it. I've seen it twice. I definitely rewatched it before season 8, and then of course.
Okay, and I don't think we did, and that's always been our like tradition.
Yeah.
But I want to say we were like in the middle of like moving and just like we had a lot going on at the time that season 8 was
coming
up.
up.
Yeah, coming up, and I don't think we rewatched season 7. So this is like I remember very little, and So
same, but I feel like partially is is me intentional, me protecting myself from harm. It's like a defense mechanism. I do not like this season. I am on record as saying it is the worst season by a lot. And I think part of that feeling was why I wanted to rewatch it before to like, did I really hate it that much? And I don't really remember my outcome after this one, after my second watch through, but this will be interesting. I am interested to see what we think about it, what our collective view on it is here.
Sure, yeah.
But before... Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, well, I was just going to say, like, this is going to be maybe slightly a different dynamic for our listeners and watchers. Like, Scott and I spend so much time talking about pretty much everything season 1 through 6 because I do recall not loving season 7. I know I wasn't as negative as Scott was about it. Yeah. But I've only ever watched it the once. So like anytime Game of Thrones comes up in conversation, which is often, we're not really chatting about the stuff in this season. So I guess our opinions will not have been like influenced by each other's previous conversations.
Yes. I feel like our conversations like 99% of the time stop at the end of season 6.
Right. So. Right. Yeah, that's definitely true. So, you and I feel like look at things similarly and end up usually end up at the same take.
Sure.
Or a very similar take anyway. But this might be a little different, especially under a more like focused lens. The way that we're doing the podcast.
I'm very curious to see. I'm excited to get into it here because I'm curious to see if we're on the same wavelength still. Because I feel like if there was a time when you and I were going to differ a little bit more, it might be these last 2 seasons. But before we do that, I have another special surprise for you, Zach. Well, it's not really. I love it. It's not really a surprise. I already told you. I got them stats.
You got them stats. I got to pull these bitches up on my phone.
Well, so this is where we last checked in. This is not current. This was 51. Okay. Just as a refresher, because I think a couple things are interesting here. So where we last left off at the start of season 6, Tywin, Tyrion, Jon, Daenerys, Arya were top 5 in that order.
Right.
Cersei, Littlefinger, Jaime the Hound, Davos, Sam, Bobby B, Rob, Marjorie, and Sansa rounded out. Wait,
this is current. No, this is
current. I thought I hid. There we go. I'm on the ball here. Sorry. Where we last left off at the start of season 6.
Way to let the cat out of the bag, you piece of shit.
So, okay, so here's...
We're not editing that.
No, we don't edit anything anymore. Tywin, Tyrion, Jon, Daenerys. That was the biggest thing I wanted to draw attention to. Those were 1 through 4 at the start of the season.
Say them again, please.
Tywin, Tyrion, Jon, Daenerys. That has not changed.
Right, okay.
They are still that exact same order at the start of season 7. The big difference is Jon had 50 total points and Tyrion had 71. He was behind by 21 points. And as you can see now, Jon is now actually technically in a second place tie with Tyrion.
Wow,
he gained 21 points last season.
Yeah, Jon had a stellar season.
Jon has had a stellar couple seasons in a row. Now, he does have a lower points per appearance, average points per game, if you will, than Tyrion. So Tyrion will hold the tiebreaker over him, I guess. But the other super interesting thing to me is that Tyrion gained 0 points last season.
That is absurd.
That is wild. I remember there were a couple times we considered putting him on the list, but he never quite made it.
Wow.
So Tyrion went in all of season 6 gaining 0 points.
That really is crazy. I mean, but like when you really think about it, like
did he?
Yeah. Tyrion didn't have he did have good scenes. Please don't misunderstand.
But he took a lot of L's.
Yeah. He was not really the best version of Tyrion
right
in last season.
For sure.
So
The other big development from last time is Arya and Cersei have passed Littlefinger. Arya moved up into the top 5, and Cersei...
Arya also had a good season.
Arya had a solid season. Cersei took the 6th spot. Jaime and the Hound moved up a bit. Davos moved up a bit. I think most everybody else is about where they were. I think Sansa moved up a bit. But
it's to this day, it still makes me so happy that Bobby D has a perfect 5.0.
Yes, he does.
Points per appearance.
He absolutely does. Almost as impressive as Rob's, who has a 4.5 points per appearance, only got first or second on his 6 appearances.
Yeah, that is wild.
Pretty impressive. I promise to remember to give this full list to Zach so he can put it up on the Instagram. I know that's it's totally a running bit that I always say we're gonna and then we never do. But I do fully intend to this time, and
Well, I already have it in my email.
Well, yeah, so but you just have the top 15, and you can put that up, but I was going to give you the whole thing, too. But anyway, that was
a joke that should have been made. You always give me the whole thing.
We're going to talk about...
I can't help myself.
We're going to talk about Season 7, Episode 1, Dragonstone, and I'm going to start us off with this recap. Are you ready here, buddy?
Let's do the thing.
All right, we begin Season 7 at the Twins. And hey, old Walder Frey is back. I missed him. Except, surprise, it's actually Arya wearing his face, and she poisons every last Frey at a feast, completing her revenge for the Red Wedding. Up north, Bran sees the White Walkers and their army of the dead on the move as he and Mira arrive at the wall. And hey, old Dollar Said is back. Missed him too.
Yes.
Bran scares the shit out of poor Ed, and he lets them through the wall. At Winterfell, Jon says they need to find Dragonglass to help defeat the White Walkers, and that both men and women will need to fight. Lady Mormont backs him up and puts the other Northern Lords in their places as usual.
Mm-hmm.
Tormund agrees to take over the defense of Eastwatch by the Sea on the wall. Sansa openly challenges Jon about what should be done with the Umbers and Karstarks, but Jon says he will not punish people for their father's crimes and shows mercy to their children. Jon tells Sansa she can't question him in front of the other lords like that, but she just wants him to listen to her. They receive a message from Cersei ordering them to come to King's Landing and bend the knee. In King's Landing, Cersei has a fancy new floor map, and her and Jaime discuss how they are now surrounded by enemies. Jaime says that they need Highgarden because they have the food, since winter is here, but that they also need allies. Cersei...
Almost like I made that same argument at the end of last season.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, well, we'll talk about it.
Cersei has invited Euron Greyjoy and his fleet to King's Landing, and Jaime is not happy about it. Euron prances into the throne room and says he wants to marry Cersei. Jaime is really not happy about that. Cersei declines, saying Euron is not trustworthy, so he says he won't return until he's brought her a great gift.
At the Citadel in Old Town, Sam wants to get in the restricted section of the library, but he hasn't gotten his invisibility cloak yet.
I was going to say, this sounds very familiar to a different recap we would have done.
But he can't because he's not a full maester yet. One of the archmaesters believes him about the White Walkers, but says that the wall has stood through it all, so old Freddy Foreshadowing is not worried. That's a good little joke you put in there, bud.
Thanks, pal.
Yeah, I like that one.
I knew you.
Sam steals some keys, grabs a few books from the restricted section to research for a bit of light reading. There's another callback. Also, fuck this disgusting scene.
I hate it so much.
True.
Yeah.
Hashtag true, except we're going to talk about it. So, back at Winterfell, Littlefinger is upping his creepy game with Sansa, but she continues to shut him down hard. Very good on you, Sansa. Somewhere on the road to King's Landing, Arya has supper with some Lannister soldiers and Ed Sheeran. Yes, that is the entire scene. Welcome to Season 7, baby!
Woo! Hell yeah, bro.
You gotta do a good old... Is that Randy Savage?
No, it's Ric Flair.
That's what I said.
Yeah, definitely. Woo!
You gotta have like a fucking neck vein that's about to burst.
You gotta look like a real psychopath with your eyes wide open too.
I'm clipping that. That's going up somewhere. Somewhere in the snowy Riverlands, our dude Sandor is grouchy as hell that he's traveling with Beric, Thoros, and co. They stop for the night at the farm where the Hound stole from the father and daughter when he was traveling with Arya. They did not live through the winter, just as the Hound said they wouldn't, so he buries them in the night. Sandor wants to know why the Lord of Light keeps bringing Beric back, and Thoros tells him to look into the fire where he sees the army of the dead at Eastwatch by the Sea. Back in Old Town, Sam discovers that Dragonstone is sitting on a mountain of dragon glass and sends a letter letting Jon know. Oh, and also, super gross, Grayscale Jorah is in an isolation cell in the Citadel. Daenerys and her fleet arrive at Dragonstone, which is very conveniently abandoned, so she makes herself right at home. And that is the end of the episode.
Hit me. I can't wait for this.
You are already.
I can't.
I need to take over the fucking recaps because you're already like pouring in the hatred into the recaps. These need to be.
They're all just like pouring in the jokes. I think is
very conveniently
the amazing jokes. No, Zach, I would never do that because I love this episode. I don't know what you're talking about.
Are you joking?
Yeah, this episode is ass, bro.
Really?
This episode sucks. Just giant balls, and I did not like it at all.
I disagree.
Oh boy. Well, we'll have to get into it. We'll have to talk about it. This is why I wanted to know. I was like, is he on the same page as me with this? I don't know, actually.
Look, it is. There's a stark contrast.
Yes.
But I don't think it's bad. I think it's fine. I think that there are truly bad episodes of Game of Thrones, and this is not one of them.
I disagree. I think this is a truly bad episode of Game of Thrones. I think 90-ish% of it is bad, and there's some tiny little good sections. But we'll talk about it.
Yeah, okay.
Let's start with one of the good. Arya, the cold open, Arya poisoning all the Freys. I think that's good, and I like that, and I think we did need closure from this because it was like, well, she like killed a couple Freys for sure, but like, did she really get a revenge?
House Frey is still...
Yeah. House Frey is still out there. House Frey is still doing stuff. But nah, she done did them all. She did her whole thing. And this is a good scene.
And you gotta love the like these are, I feel like are like worthy one-liners. You know, like you and I talk a lot about some of like the dialogue writing in the later seasons and how they kind of get a little like what's the
season
word? Just
5
like,
we talked about it a lot.
Well, yeah, it happens a lot in season 5. It happens a little less in season 6, but I mean it's definitely
still there.
It's still there, but this is one of those that like it works, it resonates, it's good. The whole like leave one wolf alive and the sheep are never safe, and then tell them the North remembers, tell them winter came for House Frey. Love that.
All that
shit.
Works. That all works, and she nailed it.
Yes.
Got no problems with this. It feels like a little like I don't know if it deserved the cold open status because all the other cold open for seasons are like.
Do you think it's like a whole,
iconic?
Like, keeping the actor out of the credits again?
No, I mean, which actor would it be?
The guy that plays Walder Frey.
Oh, I guess I don't know.
I mean, is he ever in the opening credit?
I mean, sure, he probably. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway,
either way, I mean, like I get it. It's also like this is, oh, man. I remember this so vividly. Like this is a point where. I mean, Game of Thrones had been hype for a while, but season 7, the build to season 7, I feel like an astronomical difference in like the level of like trying to hype.
You think?
Yes. Like, well, there was a much longer wait time.
Yes,
than usual.
Yes,
which contributed. And I think that like most people had caught on. Like people caught on early.
Watch it, we're gonna.
Yes, yeah. Like and the people who had been avoiding it for forever, even they
had
were
given up, and
yeah. Like I think season 7 was one of like the biggest like changes in who the audience was.
You could be right. I mean, you were caught up before this, but like you were caught up at this point, and
right.
Most people we knew that we were getting to watch it were.
Right.
You could be right. I don't know.
I don't know that that's the reasoning. I'm just more of an observation, really. But
I'd be interested to see like what the like actual ratings were for like each season premiere. My guess is probably the last season's got to be the biggest, but I don't know that.
It is. It is for sure. I've seen the list.
Okay. Anyway, anything else about?
No. The scene's fine. It's good. Do
you want to come back to Arya or talk about it now?
No, we can talk about it now.
Okay.
I feel like you and I are gonna differ on this.
This scene is so fucking pointless, and I can't stand it.
Okay, so pointless. I will agree to that, but like my note specifically is I hated this when this came out, and now I'm like, this is fine. Like
you've gone soft in your old age, Zach. No, it still
possibly
sucks.
I have gone a little flaccid.
Yeah.
In my old age, that does tend to happen.
This scene was created to give Ed Sheeran a cameo. It has no other function. And the other function of like, oh, hey, we're going to show you that Lannister soldiers they're not evil. They're just ordinary,
they're just people
ordinary fellows too. I don't give a shit. I fucking love the Lannisters, and fuck that. I don't need to know that. We don't need to have Arya have this like fucking chatty buddy scene with the Lannister soldiers and her make a joke about going to kill the queen. Awful. Hate it.
Yeah. So I do want to share something with you.
Okay,
this does give, to me, there's one other point of this scene.
Okay. What is that?
Arya's a human again. Like Arya is like.
Okay.
Like
I'll
Arya's back in Winterfell.
Not Winterfell.
She's not.
Westeros.
Or I'm sorry, Jesus, Westeros. She is like making these moves for herself. She's distanced the House of Black and White, and this is like
she's not no one.
Yeah, and like I feel like this does give us like a good balance because like obviously Arya's extremely motivated by her revenge,
sure,
which is a catalyst in who her character is. But she is also still a person and needs to be able to have a human interaction with people. You know, like she's not a mindless, like revenge-seeking zombie.
You know what? I'll buy the human interaction angle. Still don't like the scene.
I don't think it's like a fantastic scene or anything, but I'm like, oh hey, like this was enjoyable. It's cool to see Arya like have a conversation with somebody that she's not trying to kill, have a laugh, like just like be a human.
It's just, it bugs me how like obvious they are about it. Like
about the Ed Sheeran thing?
Yes, like there have been plenty of cameos in the show. Like
every season there's been a cameo.
Like the Coldplay guys being the band in the Red Wedding and, getting like a flashing second of screen time. It's like, that's cool. That totally works. It's like not intrusive. It's just they're there. They're fine. This is like, hey guys, look who this is.
Hey guys, check it out.
It's like literally feels like a Friends episode where Brad Pitt shows up and like the crowd. Ed Sheeran! Like I need like a laugh track and cheering on this scene. I think would make it better. Honestly.
Look, so I am trying to look at this as like, if this wasn't Ed Sheeran, would the scene be okay? And it's fine. Like, it's not bad. It's not inherently bad. Is it a little frustrating? I know, but listen, because I'm going to give you your argument some credit.
Okay.
Knowing some of the faults, and by the way, guys, look, fair warning, this is going to be a little coy because, we've already talked about how we don't overall like the last several seasons. Season 7 is a big one. So we apologize in advance for like making some coy comments, but not really addressing what we're talking about. But like knowing some of the decisions on what what Benioff and Wise chose to invest their time in, yes, I can understand that because you and I have that hindsight of like, this is where we spent time. Right. This is where we spent money. Yeah. This is where we, so I get that. And I do understand. And that angle like frustrates me. I like just as much, Yeah. But when I'm looking at this as purely like, what is this scene? It's fine. It's not something to be like this. It's not an inherently bad scene. That's my point.
Like I said, I will shake to your Arya kind of needs a human interaction moment because she hasn't had one since season 4.
Well, she had one with Lady Crane, but it wasn't. True, yeah. It wasn't like that was a stripped down thing that I think was also very valuable. But it wasn't like this is still a young girl. Yeah. Like just like it wasn't this, right? You understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying, and I'll buy that angle for it. I still don't love it, but I'm probably going to be saying that a lot. So anyway,
no, not you.
Bran gets to the wall. Poor Mira.
Dude, I know she looks miserable.
Dude, Mira has been through some shit, bro. She just looks like she needs a nap. Yeah, love to see Ed back. My dude looks good. Yeah. Like his beard is looking nice and like clean and
yep.
Missed him so much. Obviously the Walder Frey missing him was a joke. This is not a joke. I did miss Ed a lot.
Right.
And Bran is just like, hey, I'm gonna make you piss your pants real quick so you let us through the wall.
I would like to say something about this interaction. Okay. Scott.
What?
I think it's so dumb that Ed is like, so Bran's like, or sorry, Mira's like, this is Brandon Stark, right? Son of Ned, whatever. And Ed is like, well, how do I know that to be true?
Prove it, basically.
And Bran does not prove it.
No.
Bran is just like, ooh. and Ed's like, oh shit, dude.
Oh shit. Only Bran so Stark funny, scares the shit out of people like that. I've heard
like how
I've heard stories.
How does that prove that this is Brandon Stark? It's so funny.
Bran Stark's the boogeyman, bro.
Dude, it's like
that is so funny. It's like he does something. He goes off.
He literally is like.
It's like he's jangling keys. It's like, hey, prove to me you're Bran Stark. He's like, ooh, look over here though. Okay, you can pass.
Oh shit, guys. Let this guy in. Yeah, it's very funny, man.
Yeah, it's fine. It's whatever. Okay.
Good moment. Not
doesn't
best
make
writing.
A lot of sense. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, the Winterfell stuff. I mostly like this stuff.
This is the if your equation is to be true, the 90-10. This is the 10%.
Yeah, this is probably the best. I'm looking through notes. I think this is probably the best part.
Jaime stuff isn't bad.
I think this is probably the best part of the episode.
Interesting. Okay.
I like this. I don't know how to phrase this. I like this bit of conflict between Sansa and Jon.
Mm-hmm.
I like that they talk about like how she tells him like, hey, you have to be smarter than Robb. You have to be smarter than Dad.
I love that.
Like that is great stuff. Phenomenal.
It's also good because like for many watchers out there, like those characters are idolized for
sure,
for reasons of like, I mean, they deserve to be idolized. Yeah. They're great characters. But
extremely
oftentimes, oftentimes when people idolize a character, they fail to see the negative qualities. You know, you and I talk about this with Daenerys a lot. And it's absolutely true with Rob and Ned as well.
Love Ned
they were
to death.
idiots.
He is a giant dum-dum, though. Yes. We talked about it plenty in season 1. Yeah. Love that dude to death, but he is so stupid.
A giant dum-dum.
He is a giant dum-dum.
Okay, yeah, I love that.
Rob, great guy, had several extreme errors in judgment that really were his downfall. And I appreciate the Sansa is very upfront and honest about that with Jon. And his whole thing is just like, can you not do it in front of the, my guys,
Yeah,
which I also think is very valid. And I think this conflict, if you will, like they're not like super angry at each other.
Sure.
There's frustration.
I think that the show is trying, though, to paint the picture of like this growing tension.
Right.
Of like a power struggle type of thing.
And I think that doesn't work or land for me.
It depends on what angle you're trying to look at it from. Like, if it's a power struggle in the sense of like Sansa wanting to be validated and accepted and appreciated, then it does work for me.
Sure.
But
I mean, that's true and accurate.
If it is, right. If it is Sansa wants to be queen instead of Jon and will actually follow through in some type of scheme to make that happen, then no, it does not work for me. But there absolutely is a tension because Sansa has been absolutely fucked by everything and is like, dude, I have seen some shit. I know who our enemies are and nobody is listening to me.
Yeah.
You wouldn't listen to me when I tried to give you advice about Ramsay. Mind you, she wasn't letting on much, but that interaction was still like that was a real thing that happened. Like she was kind of put off to the side. Nobody, I guess, appreciated that she was there and available to give, her counsel. And now it's heartbreaking, I think, to see her or to see Jon go, well, how am I supposed to be smarter? Listen to you? And she's like,
would that be so terrible?
Would that be so terrible?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, dude.
I think the conflict between them is very good and natural because each of them do they have like half the information, if you will, and both of them are like right, but they want each other to like only see their side. Because Jon has seen the Night King and the Army of the Dead, and he's like, no, we got to worry about this shit. And Sansa has seen Cersei and what she can do firsthand, so she's like, no, we need to worry about this shit. And the other two, they have it like Jon doesn't know jack about Cersei, and Sansa doesn't know jack about the Night King. So it's like they're both like pulling like, no, you need to see things from my perspective. But that only goes so far because then at the end of the conversation, they're also like, Sansa's like, you're very good at this, like leading.
Right.
And so it's like, if they are trying to build that tension between them, well, then they just defused it with like, them. Yeah.
Correct.
Like not reconciling per se, but you know what I mean? Like they, they're still on good terms. Like they want each other to do things a little differently.
I want you to know, like, I don't think, like, every time you and I talk about duos or, like, the dynamic between two characters on this show, we always talk about the Hound and Arya, Tywin and Arya and anybody, really.
Tywin and anybody.
Yeah, that's true. Tywin and anybody. Jaime and Brienne.
Yeah.
And I think one that, I don't think it is, like, of the same merit necessarily of those, but, like, one that I feel often goes unappreciated is I really do like Jon and Sansa together.
Completely.
I love them.
And I think it's probably because it's a later season development. And like we talked about already, we don't talk about the later seasons a lot.
Right.
It did start happening last season as well. And I think we were realizing that like firsthand. We're like, oh, these Sansa Jon scenes are really good, actually.
They're very good.
So yeah, I agree completely.
Cool. What else happens? Oh, okay. Oh, right. I had a note on that the northern music that I mean it's like it's always playing whenever they're doing these like impactful speeches. When Jon calls the young lords to swear fealty and the northern theme starts playing, I don't know what it is, dude, but when those strings start, I am immediately like emotional.
Music is powerful, dude.
Dude, like that specific song more than any other song. Like other songs in this show make me feel things or like bring out emotion, but like this one always makes me want to cry.
No, I'm 100% with you. It's funny you bring this up because my friend Floyd and I were just talking about how much music can make a difference, like how much it triggers emotions. And,
yes. Because
he recently watched through The Leftovers on my recommendation, which you have yet to do, you piece of shit.
I've never heard of it.
Yeah. I hate you so much. And it has what I feel is maybe the best soundtrack of any show.
Is it original
ever.
Soundtrack?
Yes, mostly. And he was talking about how after he finished watching the show, like one of the songs from it came on. He's like, this song just came on like on shuffle, and I just wanted to cry. And I was like, dude, I know. And like the power of music when it's done well and it has emotional tie-ins to really good scenes, like for so long, like that shit is real, man, and that shit hits.
It does hit. You know what hits harder though?
What hits harder?
Ed Sheeran.
I fucking hate you. I'm glad you brought this scene back up because I almost forgot about it. I love Jon here.
Yes.
He's got that firm hand because he talks about how I've executed people that have betrayed me or disobeyed commands or stuff like that in the past, but I will not hold kids responsible for the sins of their fathers. And there's that that justness to him. I love Jon here. Like Sansa's way out of line here. Like what, Sansa? Come on, what are you doing?
Yeah. I think like it's. I don't think that this is an un-Sansa-like thing to do. Like it's a thing that happens, and it makes me be like, well, that's. If the show really was painting the angle of like Sansa wants to be the queen of the North. Then it could definitely be like, hey, this is a strategy to win favor of the Northern Lords, right? Which would be valid if that was the case. But I just don't really buy that angle. So
I think Sansa just has a very like knee-jerk hatred reaction of anything aligned with the Boltons, which... You know what? Fair.
Super valid
and fair. And I think that's the angle they're playing here. But it's just like, these are fucking kids. Like, they didn't make those calls.
Truly, yeah.
And Jon recognizes that, and I love that from Jon here. So
yeah, I think what really lands during this scene is like, he says no, and she challenges one more time with a more powerful argument and support from the Northern Lords. And there is this like stewing silence while Jon takes it in.
Yeah.
And then he drops the hammer.
Yeah.
And it works for me.
It's very good.
Yeah, it is very good. The last little bit I want to call out here, which, it might be because it's been, 2 episodes back to back and then, another episode in earlier last season, but might be a little getting overdone now, but the Lyanna Mormont like calling out Northern Lords is still so good. It's good.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they're maybe leaning on that
They absolutely
a little too
are.
much.
Oh, sure. I mean, they're leaning on it because they had a whole
right.
a year and a half between these fucking
and everyone
seasons.
loved her. Like
everybody loved her. They're like, hey,
media.
let's do it again.
Yeah.
But repetition does not mean it's inherently bad.
No, I don't disagree.
Like it was a good scene. I mean, like it's believable, I guess is what I'm saying. Like,
sure.
Glover, I can believe Glover saying, well, you expect me to put a spear in my daughter's hand?
Yeah.
And I would believe Lyanna being like, bitch, look at me. You know, like, which is essentially what happens. And it's great.
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah, truly. No, I'm with you. All right, let's talk about King's Landing. I think this Cersei and Jaime scene is like fine. Like when it's just the two of them at first. When we get to Euron, every fucking thing falls apart. But I guess it didn't strike me as anything like spectacular, did it for you?
Nothing spectacular other than the fact that like I've said this several times before, I just like seeing these two on screen together.
Oh, for sure.
You know, and for that reason. And I'm also like a fucking, and this is me being a sucker. I am a sucker for
maps,
like military talk and maps.
Sure.
I'm not joking. Like,
I love a good map, dude.
And then you start talking strategy.
Yeah,
boy, I am rigid. Let me tell you.
Yeah, you are.
It's like a doorstop. Bing.
It's like a doorstop.
Yeah, so like when I see this, like when I watch the scene, I'm like, ooh, this is things I like, you know?
Sure. I'm glad. The one thing I will say I'm glad about is that these two cleared the air, because we talked about that a bit at the end of season 6. It was like, it was tough to tell what Jaime's reaction was going to be.
Right.
And yes. I think even these characters with each other have that same thing. It's like, well, how? Because Cersei even asked him, like, "Are you afraid of me?" And he responds with, "Should I be?
Should I be?"
And then they kind of, you know, they like I said, they clear the air a bit. Like, you know, Jaime brings up Tommen, and you know, Cersei kind of just dismisses it, and she's basically just like, we now have everything, you know, we ever wanted, obviously minus the children. But this is what it is. It's done. We have to, like, you know, move forward from here.
Can I tell you, man, I kind of struggle with that angle from Cersei.
What, just about like Tommen specifically?
The just callousness about Tommen's death.
See, no, I kind of buy it.
Do you?
Yeah, because I think it's like, she was so, like, for so long, she was so concerned about it because of the prophecy. And it's like,
and now that it's happened,
she's kind of dead.
I could see that. Yeah.
I truly think Cersei is basically dead inside at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that's a pretty fair assessment. Yeah, that's
even her love for Jaime seems like a little, I don't know how I'm trying to say this. Like, it's like a reflex. It's just like, no, this is Jaime, and I still love him, but it doesn't seem as like true,
connected.
As it once was.
Yeah, that's a good take. So there's one thing that I think I've realized as we're talking about this scene, and very much in the same way that we like this like dynamic that we got from Dany and Tyrion in the last episode of last season.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll have some more, and you know, we had some previously where Tyrion is essentially like kind of the voice of reason.
Yeah.
We've not really had that from Cersei. Like, we've not had that exchange. Like, Tywin has had to be that in a very like demanding and like powerful way.
Yeah.
And she had to like kind of tuck her tail and say, okay. But this is a dynamic we haven't seen Cersei in, and I do kind of like the more we're talking about it, I kind of like it.
Yeah.
Like Jaime having to be like, dude, you are a recluse right now, dude. Like, you will go crazy. You need to understand, like, we're not in a good spot.
Right.
Yeah, I think I like this scene more than I thought I initially did, and I initially liked it a lot. More because I like this dynamic.
Yeah, like I said, I don't. It doesn't like. It's not like earth shattering for me. Anything. I think this first part is fine. Like I said, where it all falls apart for me is
Euron. Yeah, that's. Look, let's just get out ahead of this thing.
Okay.
Here. Like, guys, listen. Euron is I don't know that I dislike a character. Even Obara San.
That's what
she's fun to make fun of.
I was gonna fucking say the exact same thing.
Really?
I was like, compared to Obara Sand, even, like,
I despise Euron.
I actually looked this up. There were awards for this episode, Zach. The awards for worst performance, dialogue, costume. That's all worst. Oh, but he did win best Bam Margera impersonation. All those awards went to Euron Greyjoy. Hooray!
Yeah.
This dude sucks, and I hate him. And there's nothing redeeming about him or his performance or his.
Do you think
dialogue.
This guy will ever be like a successful actor after this?
I have no idea. Is this universal? Does everyone hold this vitriol towards him?
I feel like that's like, unless you're a fucking idiot.
Unless you're one of those filthy commons.
Yeah, dude. Look, hey, actually, speaking of the commons, I had a very I sat and thought about this before we recorded for like 5 seconds. I need to stop saying that because our listeners, the wannabes, would never be filthy commons. I need to respect our listeners more.
That's true. I think you're saying it just in case someone like stumbles upon
a common.
I was gonna say just some rando stumbles upon the podcast.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
You're saying it in a general sense. You're not calling our listeners commons.
Okay, yeah, no. I just needed to clear that up.
Yeah, clear the air. Absolutely.
I don't want you guys thinking I think you're commons. If you're watching the We Don't Want a Podcast and diving this deep with us, you're not a fucking
We've only done, like 80 hours of this at this point.
Dude, you know that we're getting close to 200 episodes total?
Holy shit, that's too many. I have nothing else to say about this scene. I don't know if you want to say anything about it. It's terrible.
The only enjoyable thing about it was the line that I had.
I disagree.
I think it's funny.
No, I hate everything.
I think it's funny, dude. You have to, Scott. You are so stuck on like.
Why does he look like he just got back from the Hot Topic? Like
that's not what I said.
I
that's
know,
not
but
what we're talking about.
Let me rant. Dude is wearing. Dude looks like he was part of fucking Green Day in the 90s or early 2000s. Fuck, what were they smoking when they designed his costume?
Look, man,
this show has some of the best costume design in the history of television.
I'm not disputing any of that. I agree with you.
God. Anyway, he makes me more irrationally angry than anything. I don't like it. How angry he makes me. I also don't like him. Anyway, I also really don't like this Citadel scene. Holy. Why did we need to see that?
Yeah, the smash cut, dude, is...
I hope no one ate anywhere near the time that they watched this episode. Like, within an hour before or after. You know how they say you're supposed to wait an hour before going swimming after you...
Yeah. Well, for me, it was 15 minutes.
15 minutes?
Yeah.
You have to wait an hour before watching this episode if you're going to eat, at least. It's disgusting.
Dude. You know what you just made me think of?
No, I don't know. What?
Well, and it's weird because we're talking about how gross this is, but you made me think of when I was a kid, we would go to my aunt and uncle's place and swim like almost every weekend. And I would always have like a sandwich and put hot Cheetos in it.
McCoy.
And it's just so good, dude. Like just having that and then swimming like out in the heat, and then you have a nice cold sandwich with some hot Cheetos inside of it. Oh, dude.
You sounded like a fucking stoner there. And I had put hot Cheetos in my sandwich, and it's just so good, dude.
It's just so good.
It's just so good, dude. Zach, that has nothing to do with what we're talking
about. I know, but like you're hitting some core memories here, dude.
Oh my God. Yeah, fuck that. It's just so unnecessary. Don't need to see any of that. But yeah, we get old Freddy foreshadowing talking about the wall.
Yeah, I don't dislike this scene at all. Like Sam having an interaction with like somebody new is cool to me. And also like I am biased because this is a guy that plays Horace Slughorn
right.
in Harry Potter, and I like him. I think he's like kind of a quirky, cool like actor. He has weird mannerisms in a lot of his characters, and I just like him.
Definitely some of the best sections in that movie were to do with old Horace Slughorn and this. Do you know the actor's name?
I don't, but I can find out.
I do recall those sections being very fun, even in the movies. So, or the
yes,
movie, I guess. But yeah, I don't disagree with you. Once we get past that bullshit,
Jim Broadbent.
Jim, I should have known that. I did know that at some point.
What else does he do?
I do. To finish the other Sam stuff here, I do think it's a little ridiculous that Sam has to read about the dragon glass on Dragonstone in a book when Stannis did literally tell him that at one point.
Yeah.
It's just like a very convenient plot device, and it's like, Sam, you already knew that, my guy. Like, Stannis fucking told you.
Yeah, and like Sam doesn't seem like it's not a true. It's that this is not believable. Like correct. Sam would remember that,
right? It just seems so like hokey for him to be like, oh yeah, Stannis told me that, but I had totally forgotten. It's like I got to send this to John.
I should have known.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I got to send a letter to John. John should know this, and it's just like, okay. Sure.
All we really needed was for Gilly to say something, and then Sam be like, "Wait, what did you say? Say that again. The last part. No, before that." Like, do you know what I'm talking about? That fucking thing that like always happens in every fucking show and movie.
Yeah.
Dude, I hate that.
It's not great. Anything else from Sam?
No.
Okay. Why did you say it like that?
Well, like, what, does anything else happen? There's nothing to talk about.
Jorah, your boy Jorah's back, brother.
Oh,
hell
okay.
yeah!
Actually, yes.
Hell yeah! That's
that whole arm, dude. Fuck Jorah.
Dude, that did jump scare me.
Did it really?
Yes.
I think it's cringe, corny, and terrible.
I don't like jump scares as a rule. They're all cringy and corny and terrible. But I was like looking at my like note screen when I was watching this episode, I think, and it was just like, bah! And I was like, fuck!
Dude, why, like, can we actually put ourselves in the mind of like somebody? Why would you do that? What is the purpose of that?
There's no purpose to it. It's
so stupid.
No. Of course.
So dumb.
Of course. Do you have anything to say about, we didn't really talk about this, Littlefinger and Sansa? That seems like very quick.
It is very quick. I do have one quick.
Okay.
I just really, really like Sansa being like, she is evolved. She's reached like final form Sansa. There's no more like, I'm not gonna let you like do your thing. I'm not an idiot. I'm not a fucking child anymore.
Right.
And I love that she's like, no need to seize the last word, Baelish.
Funny.
I'll assume it was something clever. It's so good.
My guy, like, he's feeling his control slowly slip away from him, and I do feel like his actor is portraying that very well on his face.
Yeah.
Like, you could tell he's not feeling the way things are going for him lately.
Like if he could go, if it was appropriate for people to do this in Winterfell, that's what he would be doing.
Truly. All right, let's talk about my dude Sandor.
Okay.
Sandor Clegane. I like parts of this scene.
Okay, I need to ask you, do you like when they're riding on the horses and Sandor's being like a grouchy bitch?
It's fine. It's probably a little overdone, but I don't outright hate it.
That's how I feel.
I do hate something later, though.
This is another one of those, like, Sandor is a one-liner machine in this show. And even good, there can be too much of even good things. Mm-hmm. And, like, I don't love that we see this, like, progression from Sandor to where he becomes more human. He becomes, like, capable of having, like, intimate conversations.
Yes.
And it's just gone.
This sequence is very interesting because there's kind of like three aspects to it. And I'm pretty neutral on one. I hate another, and I love the last.
Okay.
I'm pretty neutral about this banter they have. I will say it is a real Sandor calling Thoros, who still has plenty of hair, a bald cocksucker is such a power move. And it's just like...
I hated that, dude. I hated it.
I kind of love it because it's just like, dude still has a ton of hair, and you're going to call him bald. It's so, like, childish. I got a good kick out of that.
I hate it, dude.
It's so... With that.
Like, what are we doing here? Who's writing that? It's so... I think it's stupid.
It's whatever. The part that I love is all of everything that relates to the father and the daughter, the burial scene.
Yes.
All of that stuff. The rest of it, the fire and him looking into the flames and them talking about the Lord of Light, terrible.
I remember you hating that when we watched this.
Did I?
Yeah, you didn't like it.
It doesn't make it. I still don't. It doesn't make any sense, and I do not like it.
Yeah, it seems like a very I don't know. Like this might be kind of like abstract, but I feel like season 7. We've got to stop talking about it as a whole, and respect our listeners. But like, even in just some moments already from episode 1, there is this like really strange need to rehash and remind of like things that you're right. There's no point of this.
Yeah.
Like what, like other than we got to go to Eastwatch.
That specifically, right? Because they're already headed up there.
But
they already know.
It doesn't need to be the Hound. It doesn't he's not going to become a fucking believer in the Lord of Light.
That's my biggest thing with it.
It's so like
it is so pointless for
it doesn't make sense. And the whole like idea of reminding the audience, hey, this is a big deal, this is scary, this is the bad stuff. It's like, dude, respect the fucking watcher. Yeah. Like why are we rehashing this stuff? And like we know what's going on.
Yeah.
I
don't like it at all. Like, this is... Why would... So he just gave you, like, a 5-minute, like, rant about how dumb your god is and how he doesn't believe in him. Sandor is a known hater of all things fire. I
have something to say about that.
Why the fuck would... like, he be able to see anything in the flames? There is no precedent for that in the show.
Right.
It just, it could have been Beric, it could have been Thoros, it could have been anyone. It felt fake. It, like, we've given Rory McCann plenty of, like, praise in this show, but it felt like even in that scene, it was like he didn't believe what he was doing. It doesn't make any sense.
Okay, so I agree with about like 95% of what you're saying. The only quibble I have with your overall take about this is, given the material to work with, I actually think Roy McCann did an incredible job with what he was supposed to do.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, I think it was already terrible, and I didn't believe him.
I guess like the way that I interpreted this and the way that I like thought about this was like, well, it's a good thing that it was like Roy McCann dealing with this, you know, because like
that's fair enough.
Him getting up and like being coaxed into like go over to the flames.
Right.
I thought that was believable. His body language is uncomfortable. He like looked like,
no, that part, sure.
So I actually have that specific thing in my notes of like he looked visibly like in a bad spot, just uncomfortable.
I'm talking more specifically once he starts like, oh, there's this mountain shaped like an arrowhead. And once he starts actually seeing the stuff in the flames, it's just like, it's like you're just reading off a list of bullshit.
Yeah, it's just the most unnecessary thing.
The worst part is dude just had a magical religious experience. He saw things in the flames.
Yeah.
And said these things out loud after making fun of their fire god and all this. And then later that night goes outside and buries these people and says a prayer to the seven. It's like whiplash, dude. Like, oh, sure, that makes sense.
I don't know. That's a weird thing to... I understand your point, but also, like, humans are creatures of habit, man. Like...
Yes, and that's my whole thing is, like, that scene was great. I think that fit his character perfectly with him, like, you know, he's trying to change. He's, like, trying to, like, you know, kind of live by the things that Brother Ray talked about.
Yes.
And, like, you know, he stumbles through this prayer and he's just like, fuck it. It's like, that's true. That's real to Sandor's character.
Yes.
It's just, like, the rest of it was so not, and it's just, like, they literally whipped back and forth between those two.
Yeah.
One right after the other.
Again, I totally get what you're saying. I don't think that his experience with the flame like harms the scene or the intent or like whatever. Like, I didn't feel like the whiplash that you're talking about. I do understand it, like, on paper what you're saying, but I don't know. In my head, I just go back to, like, if, you know, and I'm sure some people out there listening and watching can relate. Like, if you've ever struggled with your faith or whatever, like you don't just have this like switch that flips on and it's like, oh, now I'm just like a believer. Like, people are creatures of habit.
Yeah.
I don't think him having this like quote unquote religious experience would affect him going out there and doing what he's used to and what he feels is right.
You might be right. It just
but I also, like, I need to give credit where it's due. Like, I fully wholeheartedly agree in how bad the whole like quote unquote religious experience thing was. I don't feel like it carries into, like, I don't think it hurts the following scene.
I think it just feels like such an unforced error because it's like Thoros and Barrick are right there. Like, this did not need to be him.
Truly, yes.
Like,
yeah, agreed completely.
It's so stupid. All that being said, like, his performance and everything, like, relating to, like, you know, the callbacks to, like, obviously the father and the daughter, and his, like, you know, you can tell, like, his genuine remorse,
right,
for all that, like, all that hit, and
yes,
it's just
agreed.
Unfortunate that other bullshit was, like, sandwiched in the middle of it, because him going out and burying and Thoros coming out there, all that I loved and was great.
I agree. I'm just like, I am ready for the Hound to still be a grizzled man, but like the version that we saw, like, starting to kind of like emerge towards the end of the Arya like duo and into the Brother Ray like scenes, that's the Hound that I'm ready, like that matured, aged, introspective and more thoughtful, but still struggling with getting there.
Yes.
Is way more interesting than like the one-liner cheeky,
correct,
like, let me call you a bald cocksucker. And then also like something, you're a dumb cunt, or like he's already said the dumb cunt before.
You're 100%
like,
right.
Yeah, like don't for everybody listening, like don't misunderstand, like there is still enjoyment to be had in those scenes when they happen. Like I can't tell you the fucking psychology of it, but like sometimes it lands and sometimes it doesn't. But like in this moment, it just doesn't work for me.
I see what you're saying, but I totally agree with that version. Like, while we love and laugh and, cackle when he's, calling people, saying people suck and calling them bald cocksuckers, and like, we love all that, but I feel like I can speak for you as well when I say that our favorite Hound scenes are like, for example, when he's having that like extreme heart-to-heart with Arya about like what happened when his brother, scarred him. Yes. And, when he's pleading for her to kill him, when he's talking to Brother Ray, it is those introspective, like where he is trying to grow or change or mature, that are the best scenes.
I have a great follow-up to that, and then we'll put this shit to rest.
Sure.
Characters like Bronn, all day.
Yes.
Bronn doesn't have some deep-rooted story that is being fleshed out and like growing as a character.
That's not who his character
Give that to those characters all fucking day.
Yes.
And it works. Tormund isn't it? Well, Tormund more so than the Hound, I feel like, but maybe not as much as Bronn. Like, Tormund has grown as well, and come around on Jon, but he's still a goofy fucking weirdo. And also it helps that like he's lived a completely different life for, so he just doesn't get it, which, it's great. But yeah, like people that you're giving a story arc to, a character arc, at some point those things need to go.
For sure.
Yeah, geez, we talked about that for like a lot longer than I thought we would. What else is...
Last thing is just Daenerys, which is short.
Oh, right.
Someone should be here. I'm sorry. Dragonstone is an extremely important stronghold that is like a 20-minute ferry ride. I almost said ferret ride. That'd be weird.
Yeah, I love those.
Quit riding ferrets, guys. It's like a 20-minute ferry ride to King's Landing.
Okay, well, that's not true, but like...
No, it's it's like right there.
It's very close, but it's not that close.
It guards the entrance to Blackwater Bay, which is right there. If Stannis has abandoned it, sure, fine.
But that was
actually, he left a token force. That was a long time ago. If there's like 20 Lannisters here holding it down, like something, give me anything. This is like the dumbest strategic move of all time to leave it abandoned.
How much do you... Yeah, aside from the strategy from like the people in Westeros leaving this abandoned, how much do you love Dany just like strolling up and just landing and just walking up?
I mean, that I don't have a problem with, because they've already that ship has sailed. You're like established, oh, it's abandoned. And it's just like, okay, sure. Like,
it just seems weird that she'd be the first one in.
Well, I don't view it that way. Like, I imagine they had advanced scouts or something.
Okay, all right. Well, that's very generous.
Yes, well, I'm not being generous in that I know they wanted this to be like a dramatic and like somber moment, but it's like, have Grey Worm walk up a little bloody and be like, yeah, there were some Lannisters here, but we took them. You're good to go.
I totally get what you're saying, and I don't disagree.
That's all I need. It is literally like the dumbest possible military decision anyone could ever make to leave that abandoned. Like, it's just... Boy. Yeah. Don't not like that. But the rest of it this is totally like dramatic and fine.
Good. Yeah.
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 It is what it is.
Interesting. Wow. This is the most varying discussion that we've had on a Game of Thrones episode in a fucking hot minute, Scott.
Yeah. It has been.
And I enjoyed it. This was cool.
Yeah, I actually did too. We talked longer than I thought we were gonna.
I have a feeling that we need to be prepared for that in these last seasons because, again, maybe whether it's like us disagreeing about things, I know that I'm gonna have a lot of thoughts because I haven't seen these seasons.
We haven't seen them as much. Yeah.
So
also, like our discussions will probably like they did even here while we talked about them. When we disagree or when we talk it out between us, it brings up more discussion because it's like, oh, it's funny you mentioned that because this, or it prompts that response. So
yeah. So,
we still have Who Be Thrown In to do.
I have not even given this a fucking hair of a thought.
I haven't either, and it just occurred to me that this is probably going to be a real shit show. Last time on a good fucking episode, where we last left off, Cersei Lannister, the Queen of the Seven Kingdoms. What does Jamie say? 2 kingdoms at best.
3 kingdoms at best.
Was it 3? Yeah, which is very good. Cersei Lannister taking the number 1 spot. Jon Snow at number 2. Daenerys. Oh, hey, did you notice I updated everything?
I was gonna let you finish. You updated Cersei, Dany.
Arya.
Is that Arya?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, my guy.
Even more than that, I actually did prep.
You did some work?
Week. Yeah, aren't you proud of me? Cersei's looking fire in her new outfit. Jon's looking good. Daenerys was at 3. She's looking good. Arya, I don't love her like slicked back hair so much, but yeah, she's fine at 4. And Lyanna Mormont at 5. Yeah, Zach, I don't even know where you want to begin with this week.
Okay. Well, look. There's a lot of things to like dislike and kind of harp about. But one of the things that you and I lean on heavy is the scenes. And I think that Jon has some of the best scenes.
Yes. I think Jon is definitely going to stay.
I think he's a solid 1 or 2 for me in my, like, when I'm thinking about the episode as a whole.
You are probably right.
I do think that Dany as well, finally touching down on Dragonstone, that is a huge moment for her.
She's getting a free fortress. Yep, probably.
Yeah, dude.
Literally
she hit
free.
The jackpot.
She fucking hit free parking on that shit and was like, oh, you got Dragonstone for free.
Dude, yeah. I think Arya's going to be on the list as well.
I think Arya makes the list because she wiped out House Frey. I think that's for sure. I think this is going to be almost a pure performance and scenes one. But I think, where the fuck is he? I think the Hound needs to be on this list. My guy Sandor.
I could shake to that, yeah.
Lyanna's not going to make it. Yeah, like she has a decent little part there, but
I mean, I really do. It just from the way like you and I talked about it, it felt like I liked her moment more than you did, but I did really like it.
Dislike it, but it's so small.
Yeah, sure. No, I agree. That's why I am agreeing with you that I don't think that.
Jamie has a case.
Does he?
We enjoyed parts of his scenes. I mean, who else are you thinking?
So, I'm not sure, but I needed to call you out on something here.
Call me out.
I mean, it's not that aggressive. Last episode, the finale of season 6.
Yeah.
When you were petitioning hard for Cersei over Dany, I was upset with you, and I was like, you are not acknowledging how powerful the alliance with the Reach is.
No, I acknowledged it.
No, but you were like, but all their army died. And I'm like, yeah, dude, but the Reach still produces literally everything.
Oh, no, yeah. I
was trying to
tossed that whole thing off.
You were just being a total dipshit about it.
Yeah.
And Jaime said basically verbatim what I fucking told you when I was petitioning for. Look, I'm not like I'm okay with the way that our Who Be Thrown ended last week, but fuck you, and I'm just way better than you. So
okay, whatever. You know, something that we didn't talk about at all is the fact that Tormund is the Night's Watch now. Like, he makes that crack, which is very funny.
Yeah.
I don't think he makes a list.
I think it's funnier that he says it and looks like at all the northern folks like sub bitch.
Yeah, sub bitch, exactly.
Yeah, it's very good.
I brought Sam up. What's your thoughts on that? He stole some books. He
Sam should get negative points for being an idiot and not remembering what Stanley said.
You're right.
And for making us have to watch that fucking slop scene.
Also true. Does Cersei make the list? We haven't talked about her yet.
I'm inclined to say no, not for anything to do with like positioning, because I mean she is the queen.
She just gained big new fleet, big new allies.
But I think that this episode kind of she does gain an armada, which is we do need to account for that. But
yeah,
I guess the way that I'm acknowledging Cersei is like this episode I feel like showed us that she is not being super considerate of their position.
I think she is. I just don't think she's as worried about it as she probably should be. As Jaime is. But again, I'm going to go back to, I think part of that is because I truly think she's just kind of dead inside and is just kind of like, whatever.
Well, she must be if she left Dragonstone unattended.
Truly. Okay, let me put it this way to you to kind of maybe expedite this a little bit. I think Jon, Daenerys, Sandor, Arya are locks. That gives us 4. So my question to you is there anyone else, or are we picking between Jaime and Cersei for the last spot?
Do we go Dolorous?
You know I would love to.
He fucking looked good.
He fucking shat his pants, though.
Dude.
Look at my guy. It's good to see you again, buddy.
I don't think... No, not Bran.
Sansa?
I don't think so. I mean, she gets shut down by Jon.
Yeah, she does.
She kind of dunks on...
her and Jon have a good scene together, and I like I said, that she brought up the whole Ned and Robb thing, but I don't know if that's enough.
Boy, are we choosing? Okay, I mean, look, let's be honest here. If we are choosing between Jaime and Cersei, it's going to be Cersei. I mean, she, despite her being kind of mentally unavailable, she did just acquire an armada.
You're probably right. And Jaime,
we're thinking. I think honestly, I kind of think we're thinking too hard about this.
You're probably right. I just wanted to show Jaime's new picture.
Is this the same list as last week, other than the Hound?
Yes, it's the Hound for Lyanna, basically. Okay, so what are you said Jon goes 1 or 2. Do you think he goes? I don't know. Does he deserve 1?
I kind of think Dany goes 1.
I kind of think maybe Arya go.
I mean, she did wipe an entire house.
She wiped out an entire house.
But she also
had a terrible
dinner
scene with Ed. True.
Let's go Dany 1, dude. You're always so
Dany hitting
opposed.
Free parking does not move the needle for me at all.
Dude, it's not just my argument is not that she got a free Dragonstone. My argument is that this is the impending fucking
all right.
Just wreck she is finally in Westeros.
To that
she's
point,
taken her ancestral seat.
To that point, and also so you never bitch at me again about what happened at the end of last season, I will acquiesce to Daenerys at 1.
All right, good. I think Jon, Cersei are next.
Arya went the entire close.
Maybe Cersei Arya. I don't
Dude, I think Cersei's like a 5 for me. Her scenes I did not love.
Well,
she did gain an armada. Of course, I didn't love Arya's scenes either. You know what? Fuck it. Let's put Sandor at 2.
No. That's so dumb.
His scenes were great. Well, partially.
Well, no, they weren't even perfect.
Okay, John. I'll shake to John because he's still in a good
John.
He's still in a good position, and his scenes were all good.
Yes,
he showed a very merciful but steady leadership hand.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, I'll absolutely shake to that. Arya.
Man,
I'm just gonna go ahead and do this right now. Like,
I just don't. I think it is insanely like. I think you're being very dismissive because you didn't like the scenes of Cersei.
Why have our roles flipped? Why are you defending Cersei against me?
Because I'm trying to be unbiased.
I
man.
know, but we do.
And
we
you are not
biased. And also, again, performances and scenes are something that we take heavily into account.
Check the tapes. You are biased as fuck. Okay?
You're biased too. You try not to be, but you are.
That I'm literally saying I'm trying not to be biased. I'm making a concerted effort to avoid being biased.
You think Cersei goes 3?
I don't think she goes last. I'm up for conversing. Okay, she is now the queen
of 3 kingdoms at best.
That's more than a lot of people. That's more than Daenerys.
Hound had a really good burial scene, and he can see into flames now. Okay,
no, fuck.
Fine. Jesus Christ. Dude. Okay, Cersei 3 or 4. Hound got magic powers this episode.
Look, I think, in my opinion, it's either Arya or Cersei.
I think Arya
are next. Okay,
because your armada, your allies, Cersei even says at best, are unreliable and untrustworthy.
Sure.
So her big armada, I don't think is as big a get as you're like wanting to frame it as. But I will shake to her going at 4. Arya did, in fact, wipe out an entire house.
And she had a nice human interaction.
If I feel bad putting the Hound at 5 here, because aside from Jon, he was the only one that had a good episode. This feels
but he also had a very bad episode. It was 50-50, dude.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I can't believe you were so down. I still think him calling Thoros a bald cocksucker is such a power move. Like, it's so unnecessary and uncalled for.
Can I tell you the only part of that I really liked?
What is it you really liked?
Is that he mutters under his breath the last part of it.
Yes.
The like the very end of it, he's like, fucking bald ass. Like there's some shit.
He calls him bald like 3 separate times. Yeah. You think you're fooling anyone with that top knot? Bald asshole.
I think Thoros is just bald up on the top and he's pulling his side hair up.
Probably, but it's very funny because like the dude has just, of all the things to go after him for, like the bald thing
it's real dumb.
All right, so are you good with this?
I'm good with this.
I'm not happy, but if you're happy, I'm happy.
Look, man.
Dude, what the fuck? Daenerys at 1? When did I agree to that? I think I went into a coma. She did nothing. Okay, fine. Daenerys is your number 1 spot for season. You know what? That is just a harbor.
Did you? I feel like you pulled the screen, the background off the side on the right side.
Oh shit! Did I?
Do you see that?
Yeah, I do see that. That's supposed to be. Shit. That's supposed to be locked.
Live production. Hey, this is a great opportunity for me to tell all you fucking listeners and watchers to go hit us up on the Twitter and on the Instagram at We Don't Want a Pod.
Oh no, nobody else will see that. I don't think.
Nobody will see that?
Yeah.
No. Everybody will see the Twitter and the Instagram.
Yes.
What are we doing here, dude?
On that was
We're fucking professionals, dude.
No one will see that shit. Nah.
Nobody's gonna see that shit. Don't even bother.
God.
Tell your grandmas about the show and share this with a friend who you think might like our kind of polarizing.
We're fucking.
Yeah.
Holy shit, how has this episode gone on for long? Daenerys 1, Jon 2, Arya 3, Cersei 4, The Hound 5. Zach, fuck this episode. I'm giving it a 4.
Wow. Yeah, I'm giving this a 6.
Boy, that is for sure our biggest differential in rating, I feel like. I don't have the stats to back that up, but I have a feeling.
Yeah, I was going between 5 and 6 is kind of where I was at, and I think I'm gonna. I was leaning more 5 at the beginning, and the more that we talked about the Cersei Jaime scene, the more I liked that.
Fair enough.
So it kind of pulled me up to the 6. So yeah, we'll see. Look, I am very unsure of what the rest of the season breakdown and discussion is going to look like, but I'm here for it, man. Like,
hell yeah.
We got to do this when we were doing Harry Potter. We got to do this when we were doing One Piece. I do like when we have like passionate discussions about a difference of opinion.
We've had plenty of jizz fests where we just, circle jerk an episode to death like last episode. It's fun to switch it up and have that passionate discussion.
Right. Sometimes you got to use your left hand,
Definitely. you gotta definitely get in there.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and call it there, guys. We appreciate you guys for listening and watching. If you guys are new to the YouTube, please hit the subscribe button and hit the little notification bell. All the fun YouTube stuff. And we will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.